Hi there, hello everybody. Welcome back. It's about time I got working again on this next video. So here I am, doing my best for you guys. I have looked at the previous videos that I've made and I am striving to make them better each and every time. I think I've done that already by leaps and bounds. And well, I guess I'm just going to continue on the unconscious mind here. I have for you today, our sample is going to be a book about the self-image and the unconscious mind. Now, the subject of the subject is going to be our good old friend here, Zenitsu. Yeah, I wanted to say this before I get going. When I first saw Zenitsu, it wasn't clear to me that I liked him at all by a long shot, actually. I kind of had a distaste in my mouth for him, and as we're gonna see in the first scene here, you'll understand why. I just didn't understand the cult following of why anyone would like the dude, but he's actually grown on me, and I feel as though he's taught me a great deal just by observing how he is and who he is, what he does, and what he believes in. And I'm glad to go over this with you here today. The book I'm going off of is called Psycho-Cybernetics. I read it recently, and it has... you know what? I'm trying to convince you. Read it after this, okay? I'm telling you what. Let's start it out here.
Please, 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 please bury me! You know, I could die any day now! Bury me so I don't die alone! Bury me! I'm begging you, please!
What is he doing?
Look, during my...
On that note, I want you to please subscribe to me. Why don't you? I saw him groveling and I was like, man, you know, he's got a lot of unabashed. He's not ashamed at all for who he is. But then also at the same time, I'm like looking at this guy and first meeting him, this was the first scene. I'm like, he seems unashamed to do the things that he wants. And not only that, but he has this self-image about him, and it didn't make sense to me.
Look, during my next job, I'll likely die. The reason is, I'm just a weakling. Do you understand?
Aren't you being a bit dramatic?
Our heart of gold here, Tanjiro, is really perceptive, and it makes this scene the much more funny. A guy groveling on his knees, someone who has these two. He seems to have conflicting minds. Yeah, he has two minds about himself, and I wondered why that was. Looking more into who he was and looking more into this book that I've been reading, I came to a couple of conclusions. So everybody has an unconscious mind. Everybody has a conscious mind as well. There's one that is the deciding factor, steers the ship, and the other that propels it. Now, the unconscious mind is the propeller. Wherever you yourself place your goal, your propeller aims to get you there. Now, in terms of how we can understand this, let's look at Zenitsu. He's a good subject for this. He is just a loose cannon. Most times, he's self-serving. He seems to be self-serving. He seems to have goals that are dubious. You can't really trust him to make the right decision because he's going every which way, to and fro. He doesn't have a clear goal in mind until he does. But the thing about him is he cares very much for people, and I couldn't overlook this. He holds people in high esteem, and the only way to do that is to have a high self-esteem yourself. But this is weird, right? Because, I mean, look at him.
Why Why did you even become a swordsman? You're acting utterly pathetic right now.
That's a harsh way to put it!
Get out of here.
I'm gonna show you how your mind can have two conflicting ideas in it, and how this came about is Zenitsu's regard for people and life. Zenitsu very much cares for others, and it seems as though his number one goal that is not wavering is to appease other people and to please them. How he does that, it seems to be he has no compass. But this is one of the things that happens in this book, Psycho-Cybernetics. They talk about hypnosis and how there seems to be a magical power about it, yet everyone knows hypnotists don't employ magic on their subjects. What they do is they have suggestive reasoning. Okay, so the person under hypnosis, what their whole thing is, or what's happening with them, is that the hypnotist is messing with their self-image. And the book Psycho-Cybernetics talks about this in great length. So the author of this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, is Maxwell Maltz. He's not a psychotherapist, or he didn't study psychology. Funny enough, where he got his doctorates in is, I guess he's a doctor in surgery, so I don't know what that's called, but he was a plastic surgeon, and he started noticing people's self-image and their self-esteem had very much to do with the type of person they are. He noticed that there are people who get the surgery done and they become much more than they ever were before. Also, he noticed that there were people who got the surgery and never did anything with their life, and he wondered what the difference was. He started getting into psychology after he saw this, and he went so far into studying the people that he claims to have even talked his patients out of getting surgeries because he found out the underlying reason as to why people believed in themselves, accomplished things, or failed miserably. Now, this has a lot to do, I've seen that this has a lot to do with Zenitsu here, and he's a prime example of how this works out in people. I like the fact that he knocks out, because it's his unconscious mind that is taking control, and you can see exactly who he is when he's asleep and he's fighting. Funny enough, that's his unconscious. That I couldn't have come up. I don't know. I really don't know if the author of Demon Slayer did that on purpose. Koyoharu Gatu. I don't know. Yeah, right there, in the bottom, right here. I don't know if he came up with this like concept of making Zenitsu one of the most powerful characters by his unconscious mode. I mean, it seems to be that he has issues, or he knows or has seen into the mind of someone like this, I imagine. I think Zenitsu is probably near and dear to his heart, in my opinion. But we're gonna see one of the hypnosis, one of the things that hypnotizes Zenitsu. And what you should think of so far as self-image is, and this has been stated in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, when people take on other people's opinions of you, or when you take on other people's opinions of yourself, it is in a way hypnosis, self-hypnosis. You tell yourself and you believe the things that others say about you. It's really hard not to believe, But what you have to do is forge on and keep going at what you need. Now, this is an example of how it happens.
Huh?
You gonna make me repeat myself? Leave my sight. You know why. The way you cry like a baby all day long. Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
At that moment, you could tell that he took in the opinion of this guy here. I forget his name. Gee Willikers, do I forget his name? But, I mean, anybody that knows, it's like, guy, I'm gonna figure it out, hold on.
Rivals is how Zenitsu develops as a character. And not only is this interesting, but we see Zenitsu fight a reflection of his self during this fight with Kaigaku. And not only that, Kaigaku...
Okay, so this is Zenitsu's rival. His name is Kaigaku. You can see that he is clearly inside the head of Zenitsu, fumbling around and messing with self-image here. This is how it happens. People decide that they're credible and they take on the opinions of others. And this is a form of self-hypnosis that Zenitsu puts himself through whenever he decides that this guy's correct.
Good for nothing. Any effort spent on you is an absolute waste of time. Our teacher is an extraordinary man.
But Gramps told me that!
Now, the great thing about being susceptible to other people's opinions of you is that when you do hold one, it's really hard to replace. And if you hear what Zenitsu was just about to say, if you knew what he was about to say, I can tell you actually. He was about to say that Gramps told him to never give up. Gramps always told him to be his best and strive onward. Not to remember his failures, but to count his blessings in such a way. That's what he told him. And he is a man to be revered. Therefore, Zenitsu has also placed himself in hypnosis under that gentleman's opinion of him.
Hey, you! Don't go being all familiar and calling him Gramps! He's a former Hashira. Someone who earned the highest title in the Demon Slayer Corps. Hardly anyone ever gets the chance to be trained by a former Hashira. The time he spends training you is all for nothing.
So here he goes degrading him again. You see Zenitsu ashamed. In those moments, it's hard not to feel ashamed, honestly. Someone that is, you would think, superior. But if I may say right now, I used to think, just like Kaigaku here, I used to believe that Zenitsu was inferior. I used to think he was pitiful, lowly, and it was a waste of time. Though, this is what's gotten me to like him. I very much enjoy this character because he has the most potential throughout all of the arcs of Demon Slayer, and he's become very close to my favorite character in the whole story. I gotta say, he goes to a length for other people that inspires me. And if I was there in Kaigaku's place, I would see that now.
It's infuriating to see! I hate even looking at you, so get out! Why are you even here? Why do you insist on clinging on like a patch of mold?
I have no parents. No one who has hopes for me.
This is him self-hypnotized. This is a good example, and it looks like a pity party. Now, all of these things that he's saying are true, but he's giving himself an inferiority complex over just actual factual things here. He has no one who hopes for him. That's right. That is right. But just because that is right doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. The way one gets an inferiority complex and gets self hypnotized is by accepting these things as they will never change, and they're the image of yourself that you have inside. Now, your soul can go beyond this, but it takes time, and it takes just a bit of empathy. And luckily, Zenitsu has empathy.
No one with dreams that eventually, one day, I'll be able to accomplish something important. Not even a thing as simple as proving myself useful to someone, either by protecting them or making them happy. Just
see how he has high hopes for other people? That's really good. As long as that doesn't get squashed from his life, he has a chance. And he does have hope.
Once in my life. I have no one like that. If you mess up or cry or run away even once, everyone says, "Oh, this guy's no good," and walk away.
Also true.
Or so I thought.
Sorry, I had to pause there. See, this character that we're looking at next is probably the sole reason for Zenitsu's survival. And he should be very happy to have this man in his life, even though he's choking the life out of him right now.
Time and time again, Gramps would run me through my paces. I tried running away on numerous occasions. But each time I did...
There he was! There he is. This is why it's... Also, I gotta say that this is why it's important to have other people around you who you interact with, because without this influence here, we have nothing to strive for. We have no hope. We have no dreams to fulfill, and we do need those. That's why humans can't live by themselves. The unconscious mind would starve without other people. And I think that should be most noticeable in Zenitsu here, because he wanted to run away from everybody. He found out that he couldn't. He found out that someone believed in him and put him through his paces.
Dragged me right back. He smacked me around a little too much for my liking. But he never abandoned me.
Perfect. Okay, I guess I'm going to make this a two-parter. I have a lot of editing to do, but should be out in the next couple days. All right, guys, I'm going to go more into self-image and how it is that it influences what we do, and how our unconscious mind has the power that we ultimately need to succeed in life. So like and subscribe, please, and we'll go over the unconscious mind again. Thank you very much.